treatment of stroke. The average incident rate of stroke is getting alarming according to the research, and there is need for people to get awareness on stroke, the causes, the prevention. And that is why in 2010, World Stroke Organization declared stroke a public health emergency to curb the trending mo- disability due to the lack of awareness and proper accessibility of diagnosis and treatment to everyone. On that note, I want to welcome my co-host, Doctor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too. How are you?
I'm fine. This year, 2024 World Stroke Day theme is greater than stroke, Arctic Challenge. As we all know, when we hear the word stroke, what comes to the layman mind, to a layman mind, is half of the body paralyzed or a particular organ paralyzed. How true is that?
Very true.
Okay.
Stroke is what happens when there is a sudden loss of blood to the brain. So a part of the brain or total part or to the whole brain. So usually what we can usually say that stroke is like the heart attack, but that's what a brain suffers stroke while suffers a heart attack. So and everything in the body, every organ of the body, every cell, every skin, every muscle has its connection all the way to the brain. So the brain controls it, controls his movement, controls how he moves, when he moves, why he moves. Sometimes some of those control are what we call they're under conscious control. So like your arms and your legs that you can move at will.
Okay.
Sometimes those things are not under your control. They are automated. They work the way they will work. It's not you who determines how your heart pumps. It's not you who determines when you want to breathe. It is not you who determines how your digestive system works. But all, whether they are under your control or they are not under your control, they are under the brain's control. And when any part of the brain is short from blood, that part of the brain will die. And if that part of the brain dies, then the whole area controlled by that part of the brain will no longer function, because the brain would then have cut off all the connections to that part. So that's why you see people who have stroke and then they have one arm and one leg not functional, because that part of the brain that controls the arms and the legs movement is where the stroke went to. Some people, the stroke will go to the area that controls their speech, so they will not be able to speak. Some will not be able to hear well. Some will not able to walk. A lot of stroke can cause a lot of things in a lot of possible dimensions. So, but when blood is not supplied to the brain, that's what happens, and it's because the brain controls all the muscular activities of the human body, and so whichever part is now not receiving blood dies.
Wow.
That area is no longer functional.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Well, we are talking about stroke. Is there any causes?
Yeah, usually stroke is there are generally like two major main divisions. As I said, blood is not getting to the point, so it is either the pipe that brings blood to a particular point bursts,
Okay.
or the pipe is blocked. Those are the two major divisions of stroke. So it is either it is ruptured, and so if you have a tap in your bathroom or your kitchen, and there's a tank that brings water to it, and if something happens to that pipe that connects that tank to that pipe and it ruptures, then you will not have water flowing through your pipe, and that means that's one type of stroke. Sometimes something can block the pipe, in which case blood does not get to the area it's going to, and the same thing will happen. What the brain will respond to is that it's not having blood. Now, what the first one, when we talk about stroke, the first major one that everybody talks about and everybody knows, are aware of, we've talked about it, is hypertension. Uncontrolled hypertension.
Uncontrolled
Hypertension,
hypertension.
yes, usually cause stroke. Usually, because if your blood pressure gets high to a point, it can spontaneously rupture the vessel in your brain, and if that happens, stroke will occur. The next one, again preventable, again people have talked about it, is what they call sedentary lifestyle. If you sit down a lot, if you are having a lot of unnecessary fat, and you are there, and you're not exercising well, and you are eating poor diet choices and all what, then you can have a blockage somewhere, and that again occurs to diabetics. You can have a blockage somewhere. So basically, what are the causes of stroke? Those, and then there are now numerous other causes of stroke. Things can happen with the pipe can have a problem. If the pipe has a problem, it is more likely to rupture.
Okay.
There are a lot of things, but the two major ones that we usually try to fight against, because they are more often than not habitual,
Okay.
things that are of habit: uncontrolled hypertension and sedentary lifestyle with obesity. So those are the
Or all right. Now you mentioned something about obesity. You mentioned something on uncontrolled hypertension.
yeah.
To clarify more, when we are talking about uncontrolled hypertension, are we referring to hypertension not being attended to medically?
Yes, if you're not taking medical medications for your hypertension, then it will be uncontrolled. So your blood pressure will start with maybe 140/90, and then it will rise gradually. Sometimes your blood pressure can go as high as 180, 110, 200. By the time it gets to that kind of level, 220, 230, something will give. Usually it's your one of your blood vessels that will rupture, and then that's the stroke. So that's uncontrolled hypertension. Because you're not taking your drugs, you're not paying attention to it, and you're taking your drugs, but you're taking it poorly, or you are not, or again, when you have hypertension, there are a lot of discussions about your diet choices, salt intake, and all that. And if you don't adhere to those kind of choices, usually that's what you end. The blood pressure will keep mounting, and then it will rupture the vessel one day, and it's a stroke. So
Okay.
hypertension is
Is part
major.
of, oh, is a major,
It's a major.
not even part.
In
It's
fact,
a-
if we remove hypertension and obesity, the remaining are not as frequent as that, and those ones, most of them are not something that you can actually do anything about. Genetics play a lot of a role in those development again. So cyclists can have strokes too. If the sickle cells clots, and it throws the clots to the brain, it can cause an obstruction, what they call the blockage. So once it causes the blockage, then there can be a stroke. So a sickler can be. So usually, if you don't get a sickler, the only way you can have a sickler is if an AS man marries an AS woman. If AS don't marry AS, we cannot have sicklers. So, and we can prevent that 100%. So all we need to do is just say AS don't marry AS, period, and that's sorted out. Hypertension, you're hypertensive, go to the hospital, take your drugs, period. Lifestyle, enforce sedentary lifestyle is not good. In offices, in workspaces, at home, encourage active participation. All that's all we need to do really, and then we will reduce significantly the amount of morbidity of stroke, and they can lead to death. The ones that are lucky are the ones that some are well, I don't know how to say this anyway. If stroke happens, you can die.
if stroke happens.
Yeah, if you want to have a stroke, you can die. If you don't die, then you end up with one form of paralysis or the other. And then you still have to now take the drugs, because if you don't take the drugs, you will still have a second stroke.
Oh, are you saying stroke? Stroke is in stages.
If you don't have, if the, what caused the first stroke,
Okay.
if you don't account for it, if you don't take care of it, you then have more strokes
Oh,
later in your life. So usually by the second stroke, you will die anyway. So, but one of the things that we used to say in med school was that the risk factor of having a stroke is a stroke in the past. It's a stroke history. So if you had a stroke before, you are somebody that must be watched out for very carefully. So that's why bother go through all that stress. When you have hypertension, go to the doctor, get checked, get diagnosed, get your drugs, commit to taking the drugs, and that's the end of the matter. As long as you're taking your drugs, nothing like stroke will before you.
so are you saying that the highest risk for stroke,
Hypertension, uncontrolled
hypertension,
hypertension, sedentary lifestyle, and obesity. Those are the two.
high risk?
Yeah.
So when we are saying obesity, should we say, should I say the width? Like how many?
No, we use weight for height.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we use weight. We call it BMI, weight
The
for
BMI.
height. So
Okay.
you go to the hospital and they measure you. They will tell you if you have. We have this medical standard for.
For it.
It's not just that you are fat. No.
Because we also have to clear that for
We have
people
people
listening to
who
us.
are bigger.
Okay.
You are bigger than me. That does not mean that you are obese.
Mm,
It's weight for height. So for your height, is your weight adequate? For my height, is my weight adequate? So we are individualizing these things now. We are not just putting a blanket on it. So say anybody that is big, that is heavier than 70 kilogram is obese. No, that's not what the medicine has advanced beyond that now. So we are doing weight for height called BMI, and then we are using that as one of the yardsticks to confirm. And then there are other tests that we will do to say that you are obese, blood tests that we will say, and then we'll look for some other things in your blood, and those are the things that will then devise a plan, and then we'll walk around trying to eradicate in your blood. So yeah, obesity is a major factor too, and it's a factor that is a force of habit, choice, diet, choice, exercise, some genetics, yes, but majorly habits of exercise and diet.
habitudes. So when we come to stroke, should I say that are there any warning signals? You know, there are times you might notice one or two things before the whole stroke comes in.
Yeah, sometimes the uncontrolled hypertension usually that type is it usually gives you some very bad headaches, pounding because it's going to start, and then you sometimes you can have the feeling the symptoms of uncontrolled hypertension. Your heart will pound, you can hear the heart beating. Sometimes you might be tired very quickly, so a lot of those things will start to happen rapidly to you. Um, um, when if it's the other one, the obesity one, sometimes there will be what we call micro emboli, small clots, small fat emboli. So they're not big enough to close a major vessel. So they will close one vessel somehow, and then maybe in the next 10-20 seconds, the pressure of the blood will push them out again. So you will feel the blanking. But all in all, if you are, I would recommend that at least once a month, go to the hospital and just get checked up. Blood pressure, sugar, weight and height measurement, check your eyesight. Every month, do that every month, once a month. At least that gives you a chance to, so you will know what's going to happen or what's happening already. So, yes, it gives warning sign. Headache is one of the major warning signs.
Headache is more known.
But uncontrolled hypertension is the one that comes. Uncontrolled hypertension is the one that gives a lot of the warning sign. Sedentary obesity is just a silent killer. You just keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter, and then one day the clot comes, and that's the end. You know, so that's just that one. Sickle cells, of course, sicklers will have their own signs too.
Okay, but stroke just comes suddenly.
Yep, suddenly.
Yes. So in a situation how can one tell that okay, this is a stroke, and what do you advise medically they do immediately?
Well, I would say if it's happening, they can't do anything about it. They cannot do anything about it once it starts to happen. And so what they can do is that they can as much as possible, just help the person to get to the hospital within the first 2, 3, 5 minutes. You can bring the person in less than 10 minutes. Yeah, there's still some hope somewhere that they can apply some medical drugs. Some drugs can still be applied to either dissolve the stroke. Some procedures can be done to go and remove the clot or go and salvage the brain. There are a lot of things that might still be done, but usually, again, that's the problem we have in Nigeria. The health insurance has failed, and because it has failed, people, that kind of procedure to touch somebody's brain might be running into millions. You know, there is no light. So if you go to UCH now, say you might not have light. So when you get there around 11 p.m., 12 midnight, and you are bringing a stroke patient, and the whole place is dark. How are you going to? They are not going to put on the generator because of the cost of diesel. So I do not understand. So a lot of things are wrong in a lot of ways. If you are discussing stroke, the World Health Organization can be talking about stroke at their level. They have provided the baseline. There's poor road. So somebody from the hinterlands of Ado Awaye who has a stroke, how is he going to get to UCH? Because the only center he can come for soccer is UCH. There is no other center in Ibadan that is handled, that in Oyo State, that is capable of intervening in a stroke situation and bringing out something. So that happens. He has to come to UCH or one of those big hospitals in Ibadan. Hope that there is light, and then hope that you have enough money to pay. The MRI that you have to do first when you get here to identify where it is, to do whatever, to do what, it's over 100,000. How many people keep 100,000 at their beck and call just for one investigation? That's not the procedure costs. It's a procedure cost service in millions. You know, so it's almost always a death sentence when it happens because of the cost, because of the attendant costs, and this is prohibitively high. And it's just that government, both at state and at federal level, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. So, but that's the problem. Even if you see it happening and you bring the person to the hospital, what's going to happen? You can get to the hospital and they say there's no light. And then if there's no light, what do you do? They can get to the hospital and say there's no bed. The machine may not be working. WHO is talking about areas where you get to the hospital. It's not even you that is bringing the patient to the hospital. There's a way you must bring the patient to the hospital. It's not that you just carry the patient anyhow, shuku, 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 bam, bam, we. You know, so you call paramedics, they come, they get. There are no paramedics in Nigeria.
There are no
paramedics in Nigeria. There is no ambulance services. It was a while ago. I was on this red line program, this early morning program, and it was one of the hosts was telling me about the fact that Oyo State governor has said that they had a line that you call the line, it will go. And I said, so call the line now. And we demonstrated that the line was not going. That was in the morning. And that was the emergency line that Oyo State has said that is working. So if anything happens to you, an emergency in Oyo State, you cannot call anybody. Meanwhile, if you are in abroad where the WHO people are talking from, when you will wake you up from sleep, they say something is happening, they say call 911. They know it's 911. And they know that 911, when they dial it, it will work. In here, you die there.
I have a story to tell concerning that, but before we do that, let's go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
On 103.5 FM.
òdodo lọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá tó sọ pé bàbá dóko bàbá ẹlòmíì rí a ní kò sóko tó jókòó bàbá ẹni lọ. ìgbà tí mo dé Subcam leading hotel and suites ni mo fìdí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí múlẹ̀ láìsí àní-àní ìgbádùn ṣodo síbi kan ju bìkan lọ. Subcam is centrally located in a secure environment that gives you rest of mind anytime, any day. At Subcam, our goal is to offer our guests a comfortable, affordable, and exceptional accommodation. There is also event and conference hall for all occasions with watertight security. Our restaurant serves local and and continental cuisines. Assorted drinks are also available in our bar whenever you want it, alongside Wi-Fi coverage and top-notch laundry with other facilities too numerous to mention. Seeing is believing. Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites is at Plot 3 Mechanic Scheme opposite New Garage off Ijebode Road, Ibadan, Oyo State. Telephone 090-6466-7569. Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites. In hospitality, we lead.
Are you ready to walk with purpose? Walk with pride. It's time for Walk with Honor 2.0. Mark your calendars. December 7th, 2024. Join thousands of participants as we take to the streets in a celebration of fitness, unity, and community spirit. Whether you're walking for health, for fun, or for the love of honor, this is your event. Together, we'll make strides toward a healthier and stronger tomorrow. Don't miss the chance to be part of something bigger. Invite your friends, family, and colleagues. Lace up your sneakers and let's walk together with honor. Remember, December 7th, 2024. Walk with Honor 2.0. Stay tuned to Honor 103.5 FM for updates. Let's make this walk unforgettable. Honor 103.5 FM.
Welcome back from the commercial break. If you are just joining us, this is Radio Clinic, and we are discussing on stroke. Before we went on commercial break, I mentioned that I'm going to say something about that. When we are talking about good health, healthy living, it has to do with the responsibility of individual, community, and the government. Just like you mentioned, if there is a toll number to call, let's even assume the number goes through, and they put a call through, and there's something happening, and the thing happened, let's say towards Akron side, and the contact is around let's say UCH. From UCH to Akron side, you can mention
you will be dead.
Yes,
if you go there that route.
If
that's what you are doing, that's what that's.
Because if you want to consider the road, you want to consider the vehicle may not work.
Even if the vehicle works, there is siren to blast, and everything is settled. You can drive there from here to Akron. Minimum, you will spend 30 minutes minimum. And then back is another 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
So by the time you are in where they can intervene in the person is 1 hour, it is too late to do anything. By the time you get there, it's already too late to do anything. Usually, where they have proper ambulance services, you see, this is the problem that they have. Oyo State and all the other states actually has this problem. It's not Oyo State, so let's just don't like single out Oyo State for the bashing, you know. Everywhere you see a federal teaching hospital or a university teaching hospital, and there is one university teaching hospital in every state. One. So in Ogun State, there is Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta. So that's the federal hospital there. In Ibadan, in Oyo, there is UCH. In Lagos, there is LUT. That is major teaching hospital. They have special services like neuropsychiatry hospital is a federal hospital, but it's for psychiatry. It's not for. But in Lagos, they have federal orthopedics and federal psychiatry. Now, apart from that, each state is supposed to be in charge of the health of its own citizens. So, where is the complement of UCH that is owned by Oyo State government? Where? The general hospital in Oyo State cannot boast of, I don't know how many consultants they have, but I can guarantee you that if I count them 1, 2, 3, 4, they will not be 10. So it cannot be one in every specialized service. So, and for you to say you're going to talk about stroke, neuroanesthetist, not just anesthetist, a neuroanesthetist, a neurosurgeon, a neurologist, a neuroradiologist. I'm calling them because that is the advanced. That's what we are talking about. So that, and Oyo State has none whatsoever.
Oyo State has none.
There is no neuro anesthetics in Oyo State. There is no neuroradiologist in Oyo State. There is no neurosurgeon in Oyo State. There is no neurologist in Oyo State. So what is it? What do they have? So if they say there's a stroke, they are going to UCH. They are going to UCH. So Oyo State has. So I mean, when you want to do the thing, I don't know why people just come and just don't lump it together. Take the federal hospitals out. Or if you do anything anyhow in Oyo State, you die anyhow in Oyo State. Yeah, maybe when you have malaria and whatever, they can help you. But apart from that, I'm not sure that any hospital in Oyo State government is competent to handle any major. So yes, even if one man brings the ambulance services, the major general hospital in Oyo State is one here in Ibadan. In Adeoyo here.
At Adeoyo.
That's one here. That's the one that serves from Akono. Can you bring somebody to General Hospital
Adeoyo?
For why? He's dead. So all those areas, that's when they say that a government comes with sense to plan for health. That's what it means. Not that you just come, put 2 documents out, and then start to drum and dance and drum and sing and dance, and then your acolytes are singing behind you, and you cannot listen from anybody again. No, that's not how government is serious. It's sense, correct sense.
Especially because it has to do with human health.
Life.
It has to do with life.
Unfortunately, people don't know any better. So most of this problem is now the first thing is that if you have that kind of crisis in every area, in this area of UCH, there will be ambulance services, and they will tell the ambulance services, you will not go beyond this point. So maybe Songo, UI, those are their boundaries. So Songo, UI, Bodija will feed, and Yemetu will feed UCH. Once you are from Orogun onto that side, there will be another general hospital that you will feed, that is central to you. Once you are from Moniya, as you go further, that's how they keep having hospitals, general hospitals, general hospitals, general hospitals. Sometimes you don't even have hospitals. In the Oyibo land, they have emergency centers, not hospitals. So they don't operate as a hospital. They just open and they await emergencies. So you cannot go there and tell them that you have malaria. They will send you away. It's emergency. There will be somebody that they brought in, rushing, bleeding, having seizures, having stroke, pregnant woman about to die. Those cases, they will attend to them, they will stabilize them, then they will send to Adeoyo when the patient is stable, when the patient can be on the road for the next 1.5 hours. Then go to Adeoyo comfortably. But so in this state, there is nothing anybody can say. There is no justifiable presence of any sense in health policy, health management, positive health direction towards managing anything about stroke. Period. So what we can continue to shout is that people should just keep treating their hypertension. People should just keep doing exercises to ensure that they keep their obesity in check. And people should just be sure that no sicklers marry sickler and don't have sicklers as children. Period. Because when it's happened, the chances are you will not survive that incident, because there is no system in place for you to survive that incident. And federal hospitals do not run ambulance services. You cannot have usage now. So what hospitals do is that UCH ambulance will be usage. So when they call you, the ambulance will leave UCH. You understand? Go to your place and pick you up and then bring you back. Maybe UCH has 3 ambulances or 4 or 5 or maybe 10. And in one day, the 10 ambulances have gone out. The 11th call came. What happens? UCH cannot take it because all the 10 ambulances have gone out. They have not come back. That's the end of the matter. So all the other hospitals cannot have ambulances. So government will employ people that they call paramedics. Paramedics is a discipline. They are not doctors. They are midway between doctors. They are trained to recognize, manage. Some of them are actually doctors who have gone to fellowship And they tell you, I don't want to just be doctor. I just want to work where the cutting edge, where it is hot and boiling and everything is just happening at the same time. Where are the emergency medical services? They are not there. Where are the fire services? They are not there. See, because rescue is not for the paramedics. It's not that the guy entered well. But when you know, when somebody enter well, it is not doctors or paramedics or ambulance that you call. You call the people that understand how to carry the person from the well. Those are the fire service people. They are trained. They are multi-trained. There is none. If any state has, let them point out. And let us hear it. There is none. That I is in the West. And West is the most advanced region in this country. I don't know what they are practicing beyond the borders of Ekiti down there. But here, where we know that we practice medicine, small, that doesn't happen. So how can it doesn't happen anywhere else? So that happens. There is no fire services, and then there is no security services. So even if they are calling you at 12 midnight to come and collect somebody, the first thing you are thinking about is that she on your safe, sir. She on your safe, sir. We have had incidences in different places where they are doing traditional worship, traditional festival, Oro festival, or one of those festivals in 21st century Nigeria, in cosmopolitan states, and women will not be allowed to go out. So if a pregnant woman is having eclampsia, is having ruptured uterus, is having ectopic ruptured pregnancy, is having whatever you want to have, but because they are doing that thing outside,
there's a problem.
You cannot go out. Isheshe. And we have governors. And we have whoever do we have as leaders. And people go home and sleep in the night. Please. Let's
all right.
talk about something good.
Well, there's still, I believe, when the government played their part, there's still need for us also as individual to try as much as possible to take care of our health. I tell people, the rates, the inflation rate in the country calls for you taking care of your health. Drugs are now very quite expensive. Okay, coming back to stroke now. Are there any lifestyle changes people with stroke need to make to reduce the risk?
If you have a stroke, first go to the hospital.
Okay.
They they first manage you so that you don't die.
Okay.
Then when you have not died and you survived it, and then they manage the complications as best as they could. Then they will discharge you. Usually when they discharge you, you see them, they have weak hand. You see, the brain controls the movement. The strength of your hand. The reason why your hand, right hand and left hands are strong, that you can use it to move things and move objects and do whatever, is because the brain wills that strength into your hand. If the brain is no longer willing the strength, it's just lifeless. It's just there. It doesn't have any other thing. So what they then do is that they then say that there are neurophysiotherapists. You see, neuro. We talk neuro.
Because it has to do with the brain.
It's the brain. Neuro. Nerve systems. Neurologists, neurosurgeon, neuroanesthetists, neurophysiotherapists, neuroradiologists. These are not my job. It's not just for now. The neurophysiotherapists then come in and then they work with you to increase the strength of your arms and your legs. That's what they do. They work with you. They try to find exercises, devise means, train you so that you can use some other muscles to kind of pick it up, the slack, so that you can at least go back to some partial functioning. At least for us, if you have zero function in your arm last month, and this month we test you again, you have 25% function, we consider it as a victory. Because 25% is a whole lot better than zero. And then we can gradually work on it, but you will never get back to 100%. You will not get back, but at least you can get back to a point where at least life becomes to have a semblance of meaning. You can do what they call your daily activities of living on your own. Dress on your own, bath on your own, take your meals on your own, that kind of a thing on your own, rather than just be completely dependent. But there are some people that will be vegetative, period, and they just have paralysis down and everything, even continent paralysis. They will not be able to control urine and fecal matter because of stroke, But By the by, they train those ones with a lot of, and it takes a long time. It costs a lot of money. Do we have centers like that in Oyo State? No, we don't. So that's why you see everybody is UCH. And you go to UCH, you see all of them, they are going there. Why are they going there? Sometimes they get there. Now currently they are on strike for, I don't know what they are on strike for now. But that's the, and all the treatment, if you break it, it means that the treatment are no longer, it's not useful for you. They are building it or building
Because
it.
it's like a circle.
It must go on. And then it breaks in the middle because somebody goes on strike. Story has ended. Story of your life. Finish. So that's the problem we have in health. The best that people do is to, that's why we come and say the prevention part
is important.
The one that is in your hand,
that you can do now,
is the one that is your own, is the one that you can control. There is no government that is looking out for you, period. And I think the earlier people get that into the heads, better for all of us, so that we know that we are talking to people that are ready to listen. Watch out for your hypertension. Watch out for your obesity. Don't go around discourage people that have sickle cell diseases from marrying each other, and let's just live a healthy life. Period.
Are those things just the prevention?
Those are the prevention. Live a healthy life. Exercise as you should. Avoid hypertension. If you have hypertension, take your drugs. If you have diabetes, take your drugs. Sedentary lifestyle. Be active. Period.
You know, there's a faster method they used in recognizing someone with stroke. That's the face, the hand, the speech, and the time.
Maybe you will see the person.
Okay.
The person already has a stroke.
Okay.
The face is deviated to this side. The arm is not working.
Okay.
The leg is not working. And they put the food in their mouth. It dribbles from one side. They can't talk because their mouth is deviated. Their tongue is deviated. Everything. This is a stroke speech. That's what I'm saying. Okay. We know. But you see, the problem is that when he's having the stroke, once that thing starts to happen, it starts to happen new. And stroke is not, sometimes you might have a stroke for 24 hours. It doesn't happen. Some strokes don't occur in 1 minute. The one that ruptures the vessel, that's one that very acute. It has happened. The one that comes gradually, the one that has blockage. Sometimes the block, one big bolus of fat emboli just screams up from the somewhere and just, sometimes it's just little. So if you've been doing exercises, if you've been going to the hospital, they will have checked, they will have seen it, they will have given you some drugs to ward it off, and those are the things that we are discussing. The ones that are acute will happen acutely, but the ones that are not acute, we can prevent them. Because the repercussion of it, the complications of it, living with it, even the person that is taking care, the carer system, there is no care. A lot of our Nigerian people, they go abroad to do carer. Who do you think they are doing carers for abroad? Old people, people with strokes. In Nigeria, have you seen anybody call a carer? It's your family. You have most of them. If it's your wife, it's your wife. If it's your, sometimes marriages break because of the burden of care of living with this kind of people, especially when it is somebody who had been used to taking executive decisions all his life. Somebody who can get up and go, suddenly is now paralyzed. He's looking at all of you with mean eye. Because why? Because he hates what you are doing. He wants to get up on his feet. He is locked in where he is. It is a very, and then you of course, don't let me forget neuropsychiatrists. Because otherwise they go into depression.
They go into depression. That's
another kettle of fish. And all these divisions of medicine that I have counted,
are they available?
Let's go and interview the commissioner of health and say we are the ones that you have in your state. Go and any governor that can come and talk to you, let them come and talk to you. But you have it only in federal hospitals. Meanwhile, doctors are abandoning this and going that they say there's no job in Nigeria. The governors are following them to say there's no job in Nigeria. Start by employing these ones now. At least start with that one first, and then let's see.
It's all right. The bottom line of everything we are saying is there's need for you to take good care of yourself. When we are saying take care of yourself, eat healthy, stay healthy, exercise, drink water, don't eat junk food, eat healthy food. I used to tell people it's for your safety, it's for your own benefit. Because if anything happens, I tell people to know the value of health and the value of time. When you are in pain, I think you will appreciate sound health more. And we never pray for our enemy to be in pain. Let's to talk of ourselves or loved ones around us. And there's need for you and I to take good care of ourselves. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain on Radio Clinic for today. Stay healthy. Our prayers are with those with stroke. Our prayers are with them. I will wish them we wish them speed recovery. On that note, we'll be saying thank you so much for joining us on Radio Clinic. Till we come your way next time, stay healthy and stay safe. Ibadan, thank you.